Yo, everyone. Hello. Anyone in the internet? Hello. Anyone there? Welcome to FMTrain.tv. So it feels like Friday, and I'm not supposed to be drinking, and there is no adult beverages here at the hangar maintenance because they don't want drunk mechanics working on helicopters. But I'm just saying, today is 25 ways to improve your database. I have no idea. There's like 7,853 ways to improve your database using MonkeyBread, just so you know. So Christian must have picked like 25 or something. So let's start. Why don't you start? Because we want to talk about the features that are in the product, not the features that are on my wish list.
Okay, so get your adult beverage, and we are starting with number 18, ICS files. Do you know what that is?
I have not a clue.
Okay, so you may have seen ICS files in your emails. When someone sends you an appointment, you get a little file with the ICS file extension, and it's actually a text file which gets then imported in whatever application you use for your calendars. So it may be the Apple calendar, or it may be the Outlook calendar.
Oh, it's compatible with multiple calendars? That's cool.
So if you have meetings, you may automatically send people these files. They have standardized format with all the appointments. And let's just take a look. So here's a sample file. So it starts always with the same text. So if you get a text file, your solution could check what's the first line to see if it's maybe an appointment or it's maybe a contact. You know, we had contacts before. Then we have here the calendar scale is Gregorian, because that's the only thing I understand. There are probably other possible. And then we have a time zone. In this case, is Europe. Berlin, you may use whatever, San Francisco. We have daylight time. We have a date for the start. So this is 1981. Okay, it's long ago. March 29 at 2 o'clock. And oh yeah, this is a yearly event. Every 3 months. And by day, -1. Also last of the months. So last of the months. There's a time zone offset, daylight standard. So someone created here some test events. So there's another yearly event. So you can have several events in one file.
Oh.
Like you could send someone the ICS file for several meetings. You just repeat the section here, begin and end for the entry. So we have a creation date. We have a description. Prepare food for December 23rd. On 23rd. So it's for Christmas, yeah. Then there's a date to end, date to start. So this thing has a start time and end time. Got modification time, got the location information, summary, you know, there's a unique ID. So if you later wanted to see if two files are for the same thing, there can be an URL included, like you can have a Zoom link for the meeting if you like. And you can have an alarm, like you can remind people to inform them 10 minutes before, you know. And of course, you don't need all these values. Usually, the easiest thing is to just take an event, form an application, like here, Apple Calendar, and then drop it on a text editor and just see what's inside. So, oh, I'm sorry. This is the definition of the time zone, and the actual event is on the bottom. So we have here MBS at FileMaker Training, and you may not need all the entries and all this time zone definition here. So,
That's actually really cool.
Don't panic here. Very important. So we need a few things here. Stephanie explains also all the details about the time zone, which probably you just take it from one file, you keep the time zone definition. Location, description, summary, you know what's important. That yeah, and then you can just build it together in FileMaker. It's just a text string, so just append text together until you have the whole text for the file. Like you can put it in your notes, your URL, your location. If the event is for all day, then there's a different calculation than for just from 2. Oh yeah, here's a little thing. There's a 0 added, so the date definition is always this long text. So you have to add zeros in the months if it doesn't have 2 digits. Same for the date, for the day. So and yeah, you can also specify duration explicit. Yeah. And after all this, we come to, oh, another time. So you can just copy this from the example file if you need. And then on the end, we end the file, and then it's to the desktop here. This is building a path using the plugin instead of using FileMaker. And we use our binary file functions for some reason to write the file to disk. Otherwise, I would just use text write text file function. And this file has, from Apple, has a Windows CRLF. So it has Windows line endings. So I would usually also add a call to the text function to replace the line endings. So here, replace new line. This one. So I would call this and tell it here mode 3. I want Windows line endings. And then usually I would use our write text file to write it in one function call. The binary file functions have the nice thing that you can call them several times. So you can open a file and then you can write several chunks of data into a file, and eventually you close the file.
Oh, okay. So that's the advantage of that one. We have
Yeah,
some.
I recently had a client. Let me see. Binary. So he had a special need to write a PDF file. Yeah, here something like this. So he needed to create a file. He needed to write some header text into the file, then add a PDF, and then some footer text. Some, some text to the end.
Interesting.
This gives basically a special PDF variant for their application, so he can pass in the record with the data as a header, then includes the PDF for display, or the PDF which gets printed, and then the other software can import this data and pick it from the header instead of parsing the PDF. And the funny thing is, the PDF reader application was clever enough to skip the header and jump to the PDF part, so you could still see it in a viewer.
That's actually
Okay.
really cool. We have some questions.
Yeah.
You don't need all of those values to create a V calendar? Question mark. So do you have to have all the values, I think, filled in order to have the calendar, the ICS file
Yeah,
create?
this is the one I exported from iCal, and I would bet it works. Let's just try it. Let's see. Let's say I put here 2. I'll now double click it. And yeah, I found it. Yeah. Oh, I need to give it a different ID maybe. Let's just change here the UIDs a little bit. Yeah, it asked me to import it and imported the event just fine. So if you don't have a time zone information, it will. Yeah, but I don't need to define the time zone because Europe, Berlin, this is a known time zone. This is not a problem. So it worked just fine without the time zone information. But you may want to Google for the standard, the ICS standard, and then you can get the specification of what values you can use. for every
and
entry.
then manipulate. That's really cool. Today when
And
I
the,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, sure.
When I receive an invitation for a meeting, they bring iCal, Google Calendar, and Yahoo Calendar. So I guess he's asking, does ICS work with all of those calendars?
Yeah, technically they all use ICS. There are a couple of variations probably with how they handle things, and yeah. So you can just ask the service and see if you get all three files, you can look for the differences. But I usually pick the one I use. I think it was a cool idea to add this to a FileMaker database, or let's just match.
Oh
Go
no,
to
I could totally
scripts.
use this for live stream, sending people out like, here's the actual stream time and the Zoom link and everything you
Yeah,
need.
you could automate this. You could copy the script. It's not very long.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it has a time order. Yeah, there's a bit of calculation to get the time values correct and format the date. But I would expect you can just copy the three files, three scripts, and then yeah, have your
Fiddle
FileMaker
with it.
database.
So
That's a
this
good
is
thing. I mean, you use for the FileMaker training schedule, you use a FileMaker database.
no, we do. I use a database to do the FileMaker scheduling, so I just need to dump this in here, which would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So this is actually very cool, Christian. Thank you.
And then I will get my email with my appointment when you at the event.
Yes.
That would be fantastic. Okay, let's go to the next one. Hotkeys. So hotkeys allow you to define keyboard combinations to trigger some script or calculation in FileMaker. You can in FileMaker already define menu bars and then put in scripts to run on specific menu commands, and you can give the menu command a hotkey already, but then you need to put it in the menu. So you can't make it dynamically, you know. So with the plugin, we can define a hotkey. For example, here, pick the F3 key with Shift and pick a file name and a script to run, and then the plugin will trigger the script if the combination is called. We have a couple of options for this. Now let's just take a look. So we have exclusive, which basically defines whether you could have other applications watching for the same key. Then there's local. Local is a thing, if you know another application uses the same key combination, if you have it locally, it would only run within FileMaker, and if you are outside of FileMaker, you would still be able to use the hotkey for the other application.
I was just about to ask about that. Okay.
Yeah. So global hotkey is the default. The hotkey can have a name if you want and a tag. Those are values you can query later. So, for the hotkey, we have a couple of set functions. So you can put in an evaluation expression. So, for example, you can have a hotkey to, for example, set a global variable with a let statement. You can have it trigger some writing of text files with whatever you like. Or you can have the hotkey trigger a menu command to do something. Like this is here to define Control F5 to show and hide the data viewer.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, and this should also work on Windows because Mac and Windows FileMaker uses the same IDs for the menu commands, and hotkeys work on Mac and Windows. So this is something which would be Mac only because it queries the data viewer content and would allow you to use Control F5 to write the content of the data viewer into a text file. Or, logging, though, you can just press the key when stepping through the code and then see what values change later. This here is similar, the current script. So with all the scripts, we have always the duty to point out that you need the extended privileges, which we explained, I think, in the last live stream. So the plugin must be allowed to trigger a script. So,
This is cool. I could definitely think of some actions I just like to immediately hotkey, so I don't have to go looking
if you
for it all the
use
time.
macOS Sequoia, there is a little limitation from Apple. They like to ask you to use hotkeys with at least 2 modifiers, I think. So maybe not for F keys, but if you use a normal key on the keyboard, you can't just say Option and key. You need to say, for example, Control Option or Command Option. So
Interesting. Okay.
because Option with some keys is usually a special character. So like, let's see, Option F, Option G, Option G is for me the
Oh,
copyright
I
symbol.
see.
So
Yeah.
Apple doesn't like for macOS Sequoia, they enforce it, so you can't use that as a combination.
Well, kind of annoying, but good to know. If you're like, man, why isn't
And
this
then
working?
if you go to a keyboard preferences screen, you can define that the F keys can be used as F keys instead of using them as special keys. You know, F1 is lower brightness for your screen and F2 is higher brightness. And if you want to use a hotkey on this, you would have to press the Fn key. So to trigger the plugin with here F3 and Shift, you would actually need to press Shift, Fn, and F3. And if you use this switch to use standard keys, you would just press Shift and F3. But then if you want to use the special function of F3 on the keyboard, you would need to press Fn again. So this key
Interesting.
has several usages.
Good to know.
So this keyboard thing is maybe useful if you want your people to use F keys normally, because we have customers who put the different, the different parts of the solution on the F key. So they can just press F1 to go to contacts, F2 to go to invoices,
I
F3 to go to something else.
That makes sense, but if you want to like turn volume down or put brightness up or whatever,
Yeah.
you would hit FN. You could still do that. Okay.
Or you use Windows, where I don't think there are special keys, except maybe on some laptops.
Oh yes. There's the Windows side of the equation.
Yeah, just let's see, what does it do here? So we have define hotkey. Oh, it makes F3 shift and runs the script for user notification. Okay. Let's run this. And now nothing happens.
I
Yeah.
think your notifications are suppressed though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's there, but again, you don't see it with here. So I just
There we
make a
go.
picture. Oh, just 3 for 3 days. I need to
I
get my
know.
presents.
We're so close, Christian.
Yeah. Okay. Then we would go to the next one. So go back 20. So this is about scanning and recognition. So the MBS plugin has code to talk to scanner on Windows and on macOS. It's a little bit of work. You would need to initialize it. So as you may know, the plugin has a lot of code in it, but things are only active if you tell the plugin to do something. So if you initialize the Windows image acquisition API, we would start to look for scanners, and then you can have this dialog box to pick a scanner, and then you can tell the plugin to scan from the flatbed or the document feeder. And of course, we have functions to look up what the name of the scanner is and what the scanner can do, and a lot of settings, so you can set the resolution. Well, that's not part of this short sample script. And then we ask for the first picture we got, or if you have the document feeder, you may get several pictures, and then we put it in a container. And then here we use Windows OCR functions to let the plugin run through the OCR process with a built-in OCR on Windows to get the text. So, and
This is cool, because I still scan a lot of documents, or
Yeah,
Richard
so on
does. So,
yeah, we have three OCR engines. We have Tesseract for cross-platform, we have the Vision framework on Mac, and we have the OCR functions for Microsoft. On Windows, you need to install the language packages for every language you like. So by default, only the language you are using is installed, but you can add other languages and install them with their language packs for the OCR. And then there's an option to specify which language to use besides the default one. So, and actually I thought I could show you something, because at least I could show you the scanner thing for Mac, maybe. Where's my FileMaker?
I was about to ask, do you need to install multiple kinds of the OCR in order to have it like work on Mac and Windows?
Well, if you use a built-in from the operation system,
Oh,
you
then we'll
don't
just
need to
use.
install anything. If you
Got it.
want to use the OCR with Tesseract, well, the plugin comes here with, in the examples, there are a few training data files, but usually you want to install the latest version of Tesseract, and then you get all the language files for 100 languages, and yeah.
Got it. That makes sense.
So I thought I could maybe open the scanner thing for Mac and see if my scanner is running. So let's take the one here with the dialog, and let's see. Here, my printer is there, scanner panel. Yeah, let's see if it sees something. Is something on the scanner? Does it automatically do this? Oh, few scan. Yeah, I hear something.
Something's happening. Oh, bird.
Yeah, this is a coaster. So I can select it and turn it around. Yeah, rotation engine. Let's make it. And scan. So you can have a button next to a container field to have the user scan something. Oh, there it is.
And it dumps it directly into your
The
FileMaker
resolution is
database.
okay. Let's make another one. So you can have next to your container fields, you can have a button to open a scanner window for Mac and Windows, because we have the buttons for both. We have the functionality for both. So
That's cool. I always love it when I don't have to worry about that.
do we have any questions about scanning in general, or maybe OCR?
Comments, concerns about.
Oh, the Windows OCR needs Windows 10 or newer. So
So
I
it's
hope
not
nobody
backwards
is on.
compatible.
Yeah, technically we have a plugin to run on Windows 7 and 8 if needed. But actually, I mean, you shouldn't use anything which is not supported, because, well, no security fixes.
Is Tesseract licensed if I want to use Tesseract? Like, do I have to pay for it?
Tesseract is an open source library, so it's free to use. Of course, they appreciate if you contribute it by, for example, fixing a bug. If you know C++. Okay, then let's go to the next door. So 21, continuity camera. So we want to do something similar on Mac. So if you have a Mac and you like to use continuity camera, you can use a script to initialize it, tell the plugin which script to call if something happens, and then tell the plugin to import something. Technically, this is the feature here Apple has for their own applications, like here, this. So in text edit, take photo, scan document, add sketch. And we have the same in the plugin. So we can trigger this, and then we can take a picture with the plugin. So let's go to the script. I mean, that's a little bit difficult maybe to show. So let's see, this is the script triggered. This is the one to do. So now the camera shows up, and let me just make a screenshot. Oh, what did it do? Oh, yeah, it picked the selection. So here's the monkey. Take the picture. There it is. Okay. So to show you how it looks like, maybe so I can say import document. And then I would need a document, which I don't have, of course. Oh, maybe this is an important document, my mouse pad. So with the document, well, yeah. With import document, you would get a PDF file with whatever document you scan. Or save. So this is just my mouse pad. There's a castle.
It's a good mouse pad choice.
Yeah. So the iPhone starts, and it shows you a screen where you see the camera full screen. You have a button on the bottom, and then you can move over your document, and then you can pick the edges, and get a picture.
And then once it's the PDF, you can cycle it through all the wonderful PDF
Yeah,
adventure stuff you have.
And this is, let's see, this is a PDF because you can scan several pages, and then you get a PDF. So if you say scan document, you get a PDF, and for photo, you get a picture.
This is still, I remember when you first released this. This is
Yeah.
incredibly cool.
This is fantastic. Everyone should have it. It's just a button you could add to your layout. And with drawing sketches, people can even take, for example, their iPad and the pen and just draw something, and then save the sketch to FileMaker.
Oh, that's fun. That's just.
So, yeah, you define the script to be triggered, and when the script is triggered, you ask the plugin for the results, and this is just a function which gives you back whatever the plugin got from the operation system. That's basically it. Oh yeah, you can turn it on and off.
How does it know? Is it attached to whatever iPhone is connected to the computer? Out of curiosity,
Yeah.
So what if you have one computer and 5 different iPhones all trolling around? How do you make sure it
then
picks
you
yours?
would get several things. Let's just make a new script here and use a pop-up. Oh, that's my auto-completion. Pop-up menu. So it looks for iPhones and iPads nearby, which belong to your Apple account. So on the Mac and the iPhone has the same account because they need to exchange the secret keys for the encryption. And they must be nearby. You must have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled. So let's just try this. So I'm somewhere. Yeah. So there's a pop-up menu. And if you have several devices, it would show several here. So you can show a pop-up menu for people to pick something. And if they have several devices, they would get more entries there.
Got it. Okay, cool. Good to know. Does this only work on iPad and iPhone? Like if you have a built-in camera on your laptop, for example, could it take a photo through that?
That's another door here. So we have the functionality. So let's go back to the advent calendar. So this was continuity camera, and the next one is taking photos. So in this case, we want to use the video camera on the Mac to take a picture of whoever is sitting in front of the camera. So we initialize the video system. We tell it to pick the first video device. You can, of course, list all the video devices and pick them by name or index. We add a preview control to the screen and then start a preview, wait 3 seconds and take a picture and store that. Let's see if that works. So back to the scripting here. So initialize the user image. So let's go to the user table. Let's run this.
Something
you see.
happened because Zoom flashed like your camera had been briefly hijacked by another
Yeah,
source.
I know nothing happened and there's no record and no picture and I didn't even see a preview. Let's see. So I'm on the wrong layout. Files, telephone.
The user info? No.
Nah. Okay, maybe we fix it. Go here and rename this image. So, set video, preview, start preview, 3 seconds pause. Oh, you see me?
Yes, I saw a flash of you.
Yeah, you saw the flash, but, oh, we should maybe put the image container
Oh.
on the.
That
So,
would be important.
So here we have a picture, and there's another one. Yeah.
Ah, that's cool.
So you can use whatever webcam your operation system supports on Mac and Windows to show a preview, maybe take a picture. Yeah, what do you need to know? In general, I would recommend people to, if they go to buy a camera, if they don't use the built-in, you could go to a store and you could connect the camera to a computer and see if it shows up in the QuickTime player on Mac.
Oh.
In system preferences, for Windows also you could use you could use one of the video applications there. I forgot
Oh, I
which
know what
one.
you're talking about, but I also forget their names.
So we are using the standard interface for video on Windows. So any camera supported with the drivers there should also work in FileMaker. And so I don't keep a list of devices that work because in general they should all work. Is there a question about this AV thing? Oh, one thing to note is this is all in one script. Usually you would do this on the start of the solution. So the plugin can keep finding cameras in the background, and then you can maybe, if you go to a layout, you could then add a preview control and pick your device and start preview. You could do that if you go on the layout, and then you could maybe have a button which actually does take the picture when the user is ready. Or you could have a fancy countdown with our overlay functions, this countdown, 3, 2, 1, picture.
That way they know what they're supposed to be doing or how long they're waiting.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Also, it could be useful to have the preview on a screen and then use our overlay function to draw a rectangle above it to tell people where their face should be,
Oh, that would be.
Yeah. That's all things you could do with the MBS plugin. So, and here we have the explanation about the security, how to make sure that people can't go to the table. Yeah.
So
Any questions
do you need
about?
do you need specific security things enabled for this functions or just for MBS in general?
No, this is here about the user. So the idea here was whenever someone goes to the database, we take a picture of the user. But then in the security, we forbid the user to see this picture.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think
Okay.
this would fly in Germany as the data protection laws. Yeah. But well.
But theoretically, the option is available to you.
Yeah, so technically, yeah, it could be for work, it could be a security thing, that people will
Mhm.
agree to that the picture is taken whenever someone goes to the machine and presses a certain button to do something which may be expensive if someone does it,
Well,
you
one
know.
thought is like people accessing files are not supposed to access all that jazz.
So I bet in the 60 days of live streams for beginners, you will have some day to explain the security model.
Yes, I believe that's actually one of our first discussions. Basic
Yeah.
security.
So let's go to the next one. So on day 23, we want to print PDFs. So want to print PDFs. And what's the special thing? Oh, we use a plugin to actually print. Why would you use the plugin to control the printer?
Because the base FileMaker one is awful.
Now, the thing is, in FileMaker, you can, of course, set up printing for your printer on your machine just fine.
Yes.
But in a company with 20 or 200 people, who knows, you have different printers and different offices. So you need to know for the current computer you're sitting on, what is the best available color printer, black and white printer which can print fancy letters on fancy letter paper. So you need a table to know which printer is close to which desk, so you know which printer to use for which user on the application. Yeah, I've seen logic for this for clients. It can be very detailed. Yeah,
I'll
like you,
bet.
you want to print something, you want to print a normal, let's say, invoice in black and white, you can go to the next printer next to you. Then if you want to print something on A3, so on bigger paper, like a poster
Mm-hmm.
in color, this would go to maybe the printer on the different floor. And then if you want to print, like in Germany, if you print something like invoices, usually you may have nice letter paper for the first page with the company logo. Then you would have different paper for the follow-up page. And the last page has a payments. What is slope or a little payment card where you pre-fill the values so people can take this to the bank and sign it and pay it. At least it used to be like this in Germany for a long time. Nowadays we print a barcode on the invoice so people can scan it with their banking app. So okay, but the key thing here is we want to print using the plugin, so we can control the settings for the print dialog without the user using the print dialog. So like if the user should print something, and it should always be 2 copies because, well, one goes to our archive and one to the client, then you may want to set the number of copies. So this is a function for Windows. It controls the dialog for you. So the plugin can't really intercept it. We can just click faster than the user can see. And you decide whether we actually close the dialog. So we can leave it open, we can close OK button, we can close the cancel button, or we can leave the dialog open, but close the subdialog. So Windows has 2 dialogs there. The standard dialog, and then there's an advanced button for some additional options. The plugin will use that depending on which settings you pass. So the first thing is to pass in the name of the printer. So you can just pick a printer by its name. You can pass in the full name, or you can start with the first letters to pick whatever printer is installed there, starting with that name. If you don't pass a printer, so if a value is empty, we will of course not touch it. So it will use whatever was picked the last time. So number of copies, paper format, this is the name of the paper format. So in Germany, we use A4, and the US would be US letter.
Mm-hmm.
Paper orientation, yeah, landscape or portrait. Paper source, if you have this different trays for different paper types, you would put it here. This paper source have names, you see them in the dialog. Then pages from and pages to. Yeah, for the range of the paper to do. So you may ask FileMaker to just print everything and then tell the printer to ignore the first 5 pages and then print the rest, things like that. If you have pages, you may define how to collate them. So this defines the sorting of the documents if you have copies. So do you want to have 5 times the first page, then 5 times the second page? Or do you want to have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2? So then there's a setting from FileMaker what to print. So current records, what you see, the records you're browsing, the current record only, or blank record, for people to have a form to fill out. And there's another option to ask Windows to print to a file. Yeah. So Windows will then show a save dialog, which is useful if you use a PDF printer to make a PDF file. So once you run this, you need to have a mandatory pause for the dialog to run. So the plugin command will return very quickly. And then while the pause is running, the dialog will pop up, the plugin will click for you, and the dialog will go away. Usually in less than 2 seconds. And then we have an overlook to see if something got wrong. To be able to print, you need to have a print command in the menu because the plugin triggers the menu command. So you could have a print menu where the print command is available, and then you could switch back to some standard menu where you don't have printing.
Okay, got it. So if you have a custom menu with print not on, then you need to swap briefly back to one before you actually print. Okay.
Yeah, once the plugin saw the dialog at least once, you can ask here for the paper formats, paper source printer names list. So whenever we see the dialog, we will update this internally, and then you can ask them. So I have seen a database from a client where they go and show the dialog with a cancel option. Then the plugin knows the printer names. Then they go one by one to pick each printer and then store the paper formats and paper sources for each printer. So you can automatically discover what options your printers have.
Interesting. That's nice. Clever
Yeah, this is a thing you could do because we give you the possibility to show the dialog and press cancel, So
this is cool. I'm gonna have to fiddle with this at some point. We have like 6 printers in this house.
Yeah. So yeah, and sometimes it's cheaper to buy a new one instead of the card, so the ink,
Yeah.
So another thing you can do is we have set printer, which actually brings up this page setup page, the printer setup page dialog, where you can also pick a paper format and paper orientation and paper source. The thing here is that whatever you pick here is also used for a save as PDF in FileMaker. So if you export records as PDF, you get the paper format you defined in this dialog. So it may be a good idea to set the paper format and then have the pause and then do your export records to PDF so you get them in the paper format you like. So that's about printing on Windows.
Oh. What happens on Mac?
Some people may have a Mac.
Yes.
So there we have print dialog and page setup dialog functions, which do the same thing in more detail.
Mm-hmm.
And on Mac, we can intercept the dialog better. So there's actually the option to actually have no dialog show up. So you tell FileMaker in a script command to print, like if you have something, you would use the plugin to set up and then print. And then you tell FileMaker to show the dialog so the plugin can intercept the dialog.
Got it. Okay.
And you may tell the plugin to not show the dialog.
Okay, so FileMaker showing the dialog with
So
the plugin.
FileMaker shows the dialog, the plugin intercepts the dialog, provides the answer to FileMaker without actually showing the dialog.
Nifty.
So
That's cool.
otherwise, you can set options like landscape and paper format and paper source, and you can say print to a file. Yeah, tons of options. Let's see here. So you can also define the paper size here, but because we have the page setup dialog defines the paper size, the print dialog also can define the paper size, which may cause a conflict. Don't do it. Better don't do it, because if FileMaker prepares the page for a certain size and then the actual paper doesn't have that size, it doesn't look good.
No, I imagine it would
A lot
not.
of options, copies, whether to print all pages, first page, which tray to pick. With the trays on macros, we have the thing that the trays have different names. So some printers have tray 1, tray 2, some have tray -1, -2, but some have names like auto, left, right, lower, middle, upper. So the usual thing is to have to print once with the plugin enabled, to watch for settings and use here the get last settings thing to actually
And then
get
you
the
can actually.
JSON.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and see which options you picked in the dialog, so you can then put in these options. That's a thing we use here for the set option function. Like there may be some printer specific options, like here, HP printer, media type recycled, gives a different print than if you have here, and you can have a quality setting here, craft or normal. Or maybe the output bin is named mailbox bin 7 because it has several output bins and it also has several input bins. Lots of options, because normal printing one document once is something the user can click in the menu. Like you can click the dialog,
Mm-hmm.
but if you need to have 100 documents printed in a specific way every weekday,
Yes,
you want to automate it.
Yes. And you want to know exactly what you're doing with it.
No. No, a lot of things here. The gift list. So this was day 23. Do we have any questions about printing?
No, someone asked if this can be installed on the server side. I don't know if you would need to do that, but
All these printing things we do are client side,
yeah.
because we are controlling the printing on the client. We can print on the server. We have functions. If you have a Mac, you would use PDFkit. And PDFkit has a print command, which allows you to tell PDFkit to send a PDF file to the printer. So you can have FileMaker make a PDF file
Mm-hmm.
for an order or whatever, and then send it to the printer of your choice. You have a ton of options, like picking which printer. So we have seen that in a client project where they had FileMaker Go on an iPad to take
So
the
they needed.
order, you know.
Yes.
And then when the order was completed, they make save so commit the record, and then they do a perform script on server to tell the plugin, to tell FileMaker first to make a PDF from this order, and then use the plugin to send it to the printer next to the station where the person is standing, you know?
Yes. Okay, that makes
Right.
perfect sense.
So also, then if you use Windows, you can do a similar thing with DynaPDF, which would render the page of the PDF for Windows and then send the bitmap to the printer. Also a possibility.
There you go. Those are the two options you've got.
And if you do your iOS app, you can again use PDFkit print on iOS to send it from the iPad directly to the printer, but you need to use the plugin on iOS. So you would need need to use the FileMaker iOS SDK to make an iOS app with FileMaker to run on the iPad, and then you can get printer control. And I think we also have a function to pick a printer. So here, select printer, which would help you on iOS to pick a printer in your local network, so you know which printer to use. And you can remember the settings, so next time you can print to the same printer again. So FileMaker also has some built-in printing functions. Again, this is to automate, to have a one button on your point of sale system to print to a specific printer with some specific settings. Let's see, there are a couple of settings you can set about how to print. And for iOS, there are also things like number of copies, whether to show the print dialog or not, duplex. Yeah, or the duplex option. That's also a thing you want to control.
Printers are surprisingly complicated.
Yeah, and we are going to the digital office, you know. We stop printing some things, but then still we print more than ever before. Yeah.
Yes.
We sometimes just print a page to see if the printer's working, you know?
Yes. No, I mess around a lot with printing because all the FAA requires there to be hard copies of everything. So.
Yeah. Okay, so for the last door here, 24th, it just uses some Abel script to say here, Merry Christmas.
Ugh.
Also, we have a speak function in the plugin. So. But sometimes we like to use AppleScript, and the cool thing here for AppleScript is that you can assemble the script in as text. So if you are someone who likes to write AppleScripts, you can assemble the script text in FileMaker and then pass it for execution to the plugin. We have a nice example here, a couple of examples here. So like here, we just built a say command using a specific voice at a specific rate and pitch. So you can control everything this way. And you can just assemble your script text and then pass it to the AppleScript engine to run. And there's another thing you can do, and you can compile it. So you can pre-compile something, you can execute it several times, and then you can have properties in the AppleScript, which is fantastic. Like you could have a property in the script, so you don't change the script for everything you do, but you just have a fixed script with a property. You fill in the property with a value, and then you execute it. Let's see, I think this is somewhere here. Yeah, here, for example, we have an Apple script. So this is the Apple script to create a new email in Apple Mail. And all these parameters here, the subject line, the body text, the receiver and sender are passed as properties. So we can compile the script once. We could run this in a loop and execute the script several times with several texts. If you love AppleScript, you will enjoy this.
So this is very cool. I've never really messed with it, but there's some stuff in here that makes me want to go play with it.
Yeah.
We have a question. How can I don't know if this is related to AppleScript or not. How can I set a serial number and make a program executable? This is in YouTube, so they're on like a minute and a half delay.
So if you actually buy a license of the plugin, you get instructions on how to put in the license key. So you can actually use it, but you don't need to know before you buy the plugin. But and for the FileMaker iOS SDK, we have videos about how to make an iOS SDK app.
Yes.
And then you can distribute that app to other computers and use it like FileMaker Go. Let's see if we get another question or
if they follow up, yeah. No, this AppleScript stuff is real. I didn't realize you had a speak function. I'd be curious to see what voices AppleScript has in it, if it's been updated at all for its back.
well, it just controls the system things, and speech is also something we have. There's a function available voices where you can ask for
of course
the list of voices.
So you can figure out what you
Let's
can
just
pick.
see what I have on my Mac. Not sure if I downloaded any additional voices, but oh yeah. Oh, there are quite a few voices.
There are a host of options.
Yeah, you see different here, different things, compact or eloquence, different languages, different names. Yeah,
Oh,
those are
this
just
is
identifiers. You can ask if you have a voice, you can ask for metadata here, attributes for voice, which then gives you some information for voice. So here, Alva is a Swedish character, and yeah, well, the Unicode ranges you can speak.
interesting. How
And demo text, oh yeah, here. Hey, hello, yeah. My name is Alva,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's a Swedish voice.
Awesome.
So you could pick in a script the voice and then speak some text to the user with our speech functions here.
That's
So,
cool.
any other question?
I don't see any at the moment.
Yeah.
Top info hasn't given me any follow-up information.
So if you see a function and you have a question, a comment or so, you can always here use this link on the bottom to ask me about whatever you miss. Like sometimes people got a nice new example snippet and like to pass it to me. So if you use that button, I see which page you were on. So I can put it there.
Oh,
Or
that's
you
useful.
see a typo and you want to quickly tell me, you can just go here and say typo and put whatever text is wrong there, and then yeah.
There we go. And Christian responds insanely fast. He always has.
Yeah, well, I'm a guy sitting on the computer all day and code things with a plugin, and if someone has a question, yeah, sure. That's my job.
Yes, and you are absolutely fantastic at it. Uh,
And if
I
I
don't-
don't have time, I can still pass it to Stephanie, Monica.
yes. Thank you so much for this, by the way. This has been awesome. The series and this file is fantastic. There's several things I'm going to yank out of that file. The first being maybe the iCalendar stuff when when I have a moment, so I can put that in. Or ICS, excuse me. We have a question from Pavel. I would like when the FileMaker database opens to say good morning.
So to do this, you make a new script. May name it start script, maybe. Then you go to the file options, to script triggers, and then on first open. Oh, there's already one. There's my start script. So you pick it for on first when open.
Mhm.
And here you can just use FileMaker speak feature if you like. And say, what was it? Good morning?
Yes.
Morning. So let's see.
Good morning.
Yeah, I heard something.
Yes, I heard that as well, actually.
Okay, so let's go to the file again, open it.
Good morning.
You see, it says good morning, and then we come to the first layout. So maybe you want to first load the layout, If you, like you could do a pause here. 1.3. 1.3 is a nice thing. It's short enough that humans don't notice it. And you see, this 0.3 is enough for FileMaker to actually draw the layout.
So you don't just hear like a disembodied good morning before the layout actually appears.
Now, as I said, we added the speak functions long ago, and they have a couple of more options. We also have them for Windows. So,
All
okay,
right.
and thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow and all the new stuff you have in 15.0.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yes, I'm sure. And by the sounds of it, you've had a long day, so I'm going to let you be free.
Oh, it's just 11 o'clock. I mean,
It's how late do you usually stay up?
usually I'm sleeping already.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Thank you so much, Christian. We will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.